Hey YouTube, how's everybody doing? My name is JC and this is the Cuban Redneck DIY channel where we do cooking and grilling on Tuesdays and DIY stuff on Fridays. If this is your first time here, welcome. I want to give a special shout out to all the new subscribers, over 1,200 in just 4 months. You guys are awesome. If you haven't done anything nice today, please do me a favor, click that little subscription button and I will guarantee you that karma will reward you. With that said, let's talk about today's project, and that is a plate for my portable router. This guy, especially when you have a big battery on it, it gets a little bit tipsy. As you can see, the plate is very tiny. However, to make a nice plate, I wanted to make it out of 1/2 inch, and a 1/2 inch plate of acrylic, plexiglass, or Lexan, it's up there, man. So I just haven't run into the right material to do it. I was going to do it at an MDF. I think that's kind of cheesy. So over the weekend, I was shopping with the wife at Sam's, and we ran into this high density, what do they call it, polypropylene? I know it as a StarBoard. It's plain, no logos, nothing on it, and it was only $8. So the minute I saw it, I said, hey, there goes my router plate. With that said, until now, we've only done really light projects on this channel, and that's basically because I've been in the process of setting up my garage workspace. But know that I have a lot of content coming your way. The wife wants a new bed. I'm struggling with the idea of giving rooms to go $1,200. Not because of the money per se, I just don't think the product's worth it. I've also got a couple of other projects, including, I don't know why I got this crazy idea about building a boat. If you guys are into fishing or into boating, you may know a group out there called TBN, the Tiny Boat Nation. And I really dig what those guys do. And I don't know, I may jump on board with that. Needless to say, we're definitely going to be making some lures. I'm setting up the lure making station. And I definitely have a lot of content coming your way. So let's just stop talking. Let's start building. I'm going to build a, I don't know what you call that, a router plate. For the portable router, it's going to have an adjustable fence and also obviously capabilities to make circle. And I think I have enough material left to do a zero gap plate for both the table saw and the miter saw. So let's stop talking. Let's start building. Stick around.
The first thing that I want to address is the cost. I've been getting a lot of sarcastic comments on social media and elsewhere, insinuating that my projects cannot be replicated for the value I have assessed them. Well, if you live in California, Oregon, Washington State, and places like that, that might be the case. But please plug my zip code 33948 into either the Home Depot or the Lowe's website and you'll see what I'm paying for materials. With that said, here are the materials I'm going to be using to build this router plate jig. As previously mentioned, the start of the show is this 15 by 20 by 1/2 inch cutting board from Sam's. I'm also going to be using 12 1024 by 3/4 flathead screws, 4 1024 by 1/2 inch thumb screws, and a 1/4 inch by 36 solid aluminum rod that I got from Lowe's. The total cost of this project was $15.96 including tax. We'll start a DIY router plate jig build by ripping the cutting board. After some consideration, I decided to cut it on the short side. For the type of work I do, this is long enough. My first cut was 8 inches. I then set the fence to 7 inches, flipped the board with the rounded edges to the outside, and ran it again. My final cut was cutting 2 inches from the long side, making my board 13 inches long. With all the materials cut, we need to take some measurements and make some marks. The first thing that we need to find is the center. For my board, it's 3.5 inches. We also need to make marks for the 2 adjustment rails, that is 1/2 inch from the edge. I then removed the OEM plate from the router and stuck it to my board with carpet tape. Using the drill bit the same size as the holes on the OEM plate, I use it to align and drill the pattern. Unlike in the router table, where I made the hole just big enough for the largest bit that I have, on this one I made it as big as the cavity in the router itself. For this RYOBI, it is a little bit over 2 1/4. I proceeded to cut in the 1-inch strip we cut earlier into 1 3/4 inch pieces. You're going to need 6 of these. I am not going to say that it's impossible to drill all 6 of these pieces without a jig, but trust me when I say that a couple pieces of scrap wood makes the job a lot easier. Using the same jig, we're going to drill the vertical holes as well as the rails on both the router plate and the outrigger. With that done, it is time for tapping. This material tools like butter. Not only that, I am extremely surprised that it makes super clean threads. Tip number 1. Only make one hole on the small piece. Tap them, mount them, and then drill the second hole. This will assure better alignment. The rod that I'm using is a 1/4 inch and the drill bit that I use is also a 1/4 inch. Actually it's about 252, 253. However, because of the nature of these materials, the holes feel really tight, and unless you have a metric drill bit, something like a 7mm, you may need a bit like this one to make the bore for the rods large enough to where it glides with minimum friction.
With all the pieces cut, it's time to dry fit the circle guide tool and the fence. For the fence, I have a bunch of spare 1/2 inch bearings from the router bits, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use some 2-inch long screws. I'm gonna stack bearings. I'll put a washer in between them. Put a washer in between them. And that's going to be my fence. May order some more. This costs about $5 for 6 or so on eBay, and you don't really need. Normally, what I do is I order American ones for the bits, and then I end up with all of these Chinese ones. But you can get some real cheap ones on eBay or Amazon. So this goes like that. I could elongate the clearance a little bit more, putting a nut on the top. Also keep it from binding. Okay, it's free to roll. And then this goes on the bottom. Put a washer on this. That's my fence so that it can roll against the edge. I am gonna order. I got room. I'm gonna order one more bearing. So let's do the other side. Put a bearing, put a washer, another bearing, washer, nut. Put it in here, in here. Tying it up. Now we have a fence that rolls. I think that'll be alright for most of the things that I do, but I am going to order another bearing just to have it. I'm going to leave it like pre-built, so all I have to do is put the one on the back. What else? Okay, the circle jig. I'm going to use the same, forget what they call this, post, whatever. I have a picture of it, a description of it on the router table. This is an extension. This one came with like a flat head here, and I'm supposed to screw it in there. So I just got this, and this is an 832. So I'm just gonna grab a regular 832. guide here, put it through there, screwdriver, oops, mount it upside down, goes on this side. That's our circle guide, a pin for a circle. I put a second hole in here that once it's together, it will allow us to make holes probably on the 4 inches round. So that's pretty good, and it can be adjusted in and out. And if you want more, if you want more adjustment, if you want to make it tighter, you can put it in the inside. If you want more length, you can put it on the outer one. And that's it for that. Now, with all of these things put together, let's go ahead and put our rider plate back together. So all the edges are really nice and chamfered. Everything is very smooth. Very pleased with where they come out. If I had used, if I would have put a stopper on the drill press to make the countersinks and all of that, you probably think that this was made on CNC or that I bought it already made. But anyway, let's put it together.
Alright guys, so here's the final product. I'm extremely pleased with the outcome. The only thing that I left out of the video, and I did not realize until I was editing it, is that I also cut two small pieces that go on either end, both the main board and on the outrigger. And what this does, it lifts the router off the floor. It kind of floats it. This is useful for when you're trying to shave down dowels, or if you're doing a small resin port and you want to level it out with your surface and things of that nature. With that said, this is JC. This is the Cuban Redneck DIY channel. I really truly appreciate if you was to subscribe, share, and like. Thank you.